Okay. So I wanted to talk about something that was kind of weird for me, but if we look at the beginning of Resident Evil, some things are kind of confusing for me, and maybe a lot of others, because I'm kind of confused about the beginning of Resident Evil Zero and the beginning of Resident Evil. For instance, I'm just gonna lay out some stuff here like this. This is important, okay? Raccoon Forest. I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit. Okay, this is their downed helicopter, right? Now, some things I do know. In Resident Evil Zero, Wesker and William Birkin are talking in this like decrepit room, and they mention that the train is about 3 miles from the research facility or Marcus's research facility, and uh, they're that the two UBCS members or the USS, the Umbrella Secret Service or whatever they're called, they were 10 minutes out from the nearest junction point. If we go to this map right here, um, what we will see is this has to be the only junction point that they're talking about. Okay? And I'm confused because you could see that this is the Arclay Forest. The Raccoon Forest is down here. So, might I mind you, this is the police station. And I do believe this is a certified Capcom Resident Evil map. This does not make sense to Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1. Because let's say the Bravo team, the team with Rebecca and all of them, leave and go out this way. And when they get around here, because this is where people were getting attacked by wild dogs in the forest, their helicopter had the malfunction. And then they crash landed in the Arclay Forest. Because this is the only thing that makes sense. Okay? And it could have even been around here that they crashed, or somewhere around here. You'll see why. Um, I would like to point out that when Bravo Team's helicopter crashes and whatnot, or goes down, they had to make a forced landing. Rebecca leaves and goes to the train, the Ecliptic Express, where she meets Billy. And then eventually, I think it's Edward Dooley is the one that dives through the window, which the dude has some hops, first of all. That train window had to have been like 6-7 feet in the air, and he dove straight through that thing. Uh, they get on that, and the train picks up and starts taking off, okay? Now, if we go and look up the speed of that train, which I can't do because I'm not like a physicist or anybody that knows stuff like that, but I'm going to assume that they're doing at least 30 to 40 miles an hour in that train. And the USS soldiers talking to Albert Wesker say that they're about 10 minutes from the nearest branch point, which would be this, or the nearest junction point. That would be their junction. That's the only junction that they would be close enough to. And that they want, or Albert and William want that team to sabotage that train to destroy the evidence. Well, that train picks up speed, and this is where Billy and Rebecca have to put on the brakes, and you do the code at the back and the front of the train to try to engage the brakes, but it's too late, and the train crashes in that tunnel. But here on the official map, you have a massive ravine with a river, right? So if their helicopter, Bravo Team's helicopter, went down over here somewhere, because this is about the only place it would make sense for it to go down at. This is where Alpha Team was dropped off at. And this is when you have Joseph Frost, sorry, looking for, or you see in his camera and whatnot, when Chris calls it a derelict, they find the body of Kevin Edwards, I believe is his name. He was a backup pilot, but was not considered stars. A lot of people got that, trying to figure out who the extra pilot was and whatnot. He's not stars. He did missions with stars to help them as a backup helicopter pilot. So Edward Dooley could actually act as rear security for Bravo team. But so Rebecca's on the train, and they're going, and they've been traveling for about 30 minutes, I'm going to say, and that right about here is when they got the notice about them being 10 minutes away from the next junction point before they actually have to stop the train from crashing. So from about here to here is the time period that Rebecca and Billy are probably trying to shut down the train. My issue is that it doesn't make sense for the helicopter to go down over here, because Wesker and William talk about the train, the Ecliptic Express, being about 3 miles away from the actual research facility. Also, I might mind you that this is the front of the Marcus Research Facility, not this. So, if you've played Resident Evil 0, that that you get that one tablet stone for the 3 principals of the the 3 principals that work under the research facility. And that there's a bridge here somewhere in a cliff, like a ravine. And that this doesn't even make sense that this pathway goes right up to the front door of the mansion. Seemingly, because at the end of Resident Evil 0, Rebecca and Billy are standing on the bluff's edge of a cliff, looking down at the mansion in the forest. You do not see this lake, which I feel like you would. You do not see this river. Third is, if they did go down in the raccoon forest and Alpha Team went over into the raccoon forest, think about this. 1 inch equals 1 mile. So if you were to gauge this, you easily have something like from this point, anywhere in this point to here to the facility would be something like 10 miles. Okay? Which would make sense for the Ecliptic Express on the train when you're playing as Rebecca and you're doing everything she needs to do. It makes sense that train is moving at least, traveling 10 miles before it got to this place. It does kind of make sense to me. Unless the train is going really slow and it's only a 3 mile distance and it's just kind of going slow. But when you're playing the game and you're on top of the train, that train is a speeding bullet. It is flying. It looks like it's doing like 45, 50 miles an hour in the rain and whatnot. So it could make it look faster, but to me it just visually looks like it's going about 45, 50 miles an hour. The problem with the opening to Resident Evil now is that, let's say that this was where they found Bravo Team's helicopter, and this is where Rebecca walked over to the Ecliptic Express, and she's going this way, and right about here is when the train's about to derail, and they got to put on the brakes, and then it crashes. Fair enough. The problem is that if this is where they found Bravo Team's helicopter, do they want us to believe that Alpha Team, Wesker, Barry, Jill, and Chris, were able to run at least 5 miles over a set of train tracks, over a river, and through the mountains, or at least a hilly summit to the mountains, to the front door of the mansion in under 30 seconds to at least 2 minutes? I mean, they were outrunning, virus-enhanced Cerberus or Doberman Pinschers, which aren't slow dogs. They would have all been caught by those dogs. That's number one, because they were in combat boots. Those things aren't built for running like that. Number two, the sheer distance is that it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense if it's in the raccoon forest, because they really have to be like they have to really be moving to be able to cross this kind of distance in the time frame. And they're also running through a forest before Wesker shoots one of the dogs from almost attacking Chris in the intro video, which you have right here. How far have they been walking since this? Do they want us to believe that they walked 5 miles in the woods? I don't think so. Not away from, like, this doesn't even make sense. Brad Vickers is still on the ground at this point. He hasn't left yet. So Richard has the same shotgun as Joseph. I have that flashlight on my shotgun. I always thought too, wouldn't it be cool if they did remake Resident Evil 1 and 0, but played in the style of Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, where you start at the landing site and then, you can also get the videotape to not Forrest, but Joseph. And shouldn't all of the STARS members have these cameras? You know what I mean? To like kind of document their entire, you know, like their experience on each mission? Okay. The dog has his wrist, or his forearm. And they're just tearing his throat out. Jill, wasting all of her ammo. I don't even know if she even killed any of them, because I know in the game it only takes about 3 to 4 shots to drop these dogs. So she just put 15 rounds. She should have been able to take 5, 10, 3 of these dogs out, but not one of them are dead. That's weird. So the dog turns around, as we know, and begins to chase after Jill. So Brad flies over top because he finally takes off. My guess is that these Cerberus dogs were littering the forest area and basically went after the helicopter like the same way they did with Edward or Kevin. So Brad basically picked up and took flight again and was just trying to search around the area for these guys, because they probably were about a couple football fields away from their helicopter. But notice that they're running through the forest right now, but they're so Chris prepares for a dog bite, but Wesker saves him. We all know that Albert works for Umbrella, so my guess is that he's taking them to this path. That's the only thing that can make sense to me, is that now they're somewhere around here and they're going to get onto this pathway, maybe like up this way, because they were running, I don't know, like, this doesn't make sense to me the way they have this laid out. Because we know that in this video, his gun doesn't even have recoil, apparently, or there's more dogs. So that's easily about a football field away, maybe football field and a half, up and through, like, maybe down here is the ravine, like, because it looks like it's hilly and it looks like it runs up into some hills and whatnot right here. So maybe it's like that are getting ready to run into here, and maybe this is like a football field away from where we're looking at? Because that would make sense. They're running through the woods, but then again, I don't know. So it just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't understand. And then in Resident Evil 0, when you get to the manor or the research facility, where is this pathway that would take you right to the front door of the executive retreat? Because that's technically what this is. It's not just a mansion, it's an executive retreat with only 2 bedrooms in it. If you guys didn't know, there's only 2 bedrooms in this entire mansion. Hold on, let me rethink that. Is there 2 bathrooms? Because there's only 1 bathroom that I've ever seen. And there's the itchy, scratchy, tasty bedroom. Like if we go here and then do the RE1 mansion layout. And we look right here. Open image, a new tab. This room right here, the Keeper's Diary. This is 1 bedroom. And then you have on the 2nd floor, the guest room. So I only see 2 bedrooms in a 60 room mansion, which doesn't even make sense. It's weird. And then you have let's see. Well, it's whatever. But also the let's see what this is. No, this must be the original. Yeah, this is the original mansion. This is PlayStation 1. Because there's no added room that takes you around here up the stairs. Yeah, this is the GameCube. So, main hall. Yeah, so you would have the bedroom and then researcher's bedroom. These are the only 2 bedrooms, and then this is like the only bathroom. This is a storage room. Like, this should have also been a bedroom, in my personal opinion. This should have been a bedroom. It's a living room, though, which is weird. Mirror room should have also been another bedroom. The large art room, large art room. This could have been like a lounge area that went to a bedroom that connected to another bedroom. Like this could have been like something that went in here into like a T-style hallway that went into this door and then into this door for 2 bedrooms. And then another bathroom, bedroom, bathroom, in my personal opinions, bathroom, bedroom. Oh yeah, maybe the drug room could maybe double up as a bedroom. And then you also have another bedroom. So realistically, if they were to remake this game, they will have to make this mansion again bigger. They'll have to, because believe it or not, this is a 10,000 square foot, 10,500 square foot mansion. There are professional rappers and football players that have houses bigger than this, and they make this house seem like an absolute castle of a house. But when you really look at it and you break it down, it's not that big. This house, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen people online talk about being able to build this house in real life. This house would be about $2.5 to $3 million to build. If I ever got that kind of money, I would just build it and then retroactively, obviously, not have some of the, you know what I mean, like some of these rooms, like the fish tank room, bedroom, sliding trap room, like a lounge, resting room, bedroom, without a door there. This would also be a door here to here to let you into this room, but this would be a bedroom. Or maybe just like a big shower room. Small dining room. What's small dining room? Yeah, it is a small dining. I forgot where you're going here. And then Richard is in this area. Going to the T-style hallway where that zombie is. Then go in here and push that thing out of the way, and there's that zombie chilling in here. You don't need a small dining room when you literally have a massive dining room right here. That's why it doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. I don't know. If you got anything to say about it, I am going to try to get a Centauri, an Elegoo Centauri 3D printer, and I am going to pay my 3D modeling artist to build me this mansion, and I'm going to 3D print it room by room, and then I'm going to see if I can't get my other 3D modeling artist to build the original Stars action figures, like 24-point articulate action figures, to kind of go with this. And then if I get enough subs over time, I don't have any right now, but over a period of time, if I get some, I'll basically do a giveaway. And then I will do the training facility and then the police station, and I'll do all the casting characters from that too. I guess thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any input to put in on it. All right, see you later.